Well, hello everybody. Thank you. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Megan. I'm the faithful fibromyalgia warrior. I'm out on the field, getting ready to leave. I've been out with my dog Birdie, which is something we do quite a bit. Now, the topic for today's video is that you do not have to be able to exercise to be fully low carb keto carnivore. You do not at all. So if you are thinking that somehow you have to be able to get out and do your aerobics class or go to the gym every single day, nope, absolutely not true. And anybody who tells you that you should be doing that, also not true. As a matter of fact, the whole move more, eat less isn't a thing. It doesn't work long term. It doesn't last. Now, if you enjoy and you're able to exercise, whether that is swimming or running or dancing, skating, skiing, biking, whatever it might be, if you do that because you enjoy it, feel free to keep doing it. But that is not how you burn body fat. Aerobic exercise is not the best way to lose body fat. If you're going to do any sort of exercising, resistance training and weightlifting, whether that's with free weights, a total gym, or something similar, that is how you will help your body burn body fat. Otherwise, what happens is you get your heart rate up to the point where your adrenals start kicking in. And once the adrenals kick in, then of course you've got cortisol being produced. And the whole problem is that when we have too much cortisol, our bodies are in fight and flight mode, and we hang on to any kind of fat we may have. Now, having said that, you don't even have to do that. Now, I don't know how well you can see, but what I'm in at this moment, okay, this is my electric power chair. It's got a higher back than a regular wheelchair, okay, and it doesn't mean I'm not paralyzed, but I have a lower spinal disc injury. Well, that's from about 7 years ago. I suffer with severe fibromyalgia. I have an irritated and inflamed sacroiliac joint. I have chronic musculoskeletal pain in throughout my lower back. I have suffered in the past from a fractured tailbone, so that still goes on, but I also deal with just chronic pain, inflammation. I also have, pardon my small yawn there, I also just deal with arthritis, and so now I have some other medical issues as well that don't cause me pain, okay, but in order for me to go any sort of a distance, I need to be in this electric chair because my back is in too much pain when I start walking. Because, even if you didn't know this, when I say this, it'll make sense to you. When we walk, okay, the weight of our bodies is taken, and it all goes onto our pelvic area, right? So that's the weight that's where the weight is taken when we walk, when we run. If we're sitting up, all the weight settles in that part of our back. And that's, of course, where I have my injuries. That's where my fibromyalgia pain seems to hit the worst. So in other words, because of all the injuries and because of all the ongoing chronic pain that I live with, I cannot, and I've been advised not to, do traditional workout things, such as, obviously, I'm not going to go and lift weights, right? Because I don't want to risk causing myself any additional back injuries. I figure fracturing my tailbone once and having pulled a disc or having slipped a disc in my lower back already, I do not want to have, sorry, that's the sound of Birdie panting. Here, he's out today too. Yep, see, there he is. We're playing a game where every once in a while he lets me get the ball and throw it for him. For the most part, though, because it's such a nice sunny day, he's happy to just lay in the grass, and when I try to get it from him, he'll just pick it up and run away. So that's our new version of fetch. Anyways, so yeah, as I was saying, one of the good things about the way we eat when we switch to a low carb / keto / carnivore, ketovore, whatever you want to call it, whatever term you feel most comfortable using, whichever best describes whether you are eating some carbs or not, whatever works for you, is that one of the things I thought was that, oh my goodness, well, yeah, I can probably do the food thing, but when they start talking about strength training and exercise and all this, I can't do that. So what am I going to do? I couldn't believe it when I found all these YouTube videos confirming that, in fact, no, you do not have to exercise to lose weight. If you want to do it, if you're able to and you want to, go ahead. You know, I've mentioned her a lot before, but I will mention her again. One of my favorite YouTubers is Casey Durango, goes by the name of GoKetoWithCasey. And she herself says she does not exercise, okay, really. Like as far as, you know, building up her stamina and her strength, because that isn't what she's needing to do. And as she has pointed out, and as scientists have come to prove, and as we are all slowly trying to show, but we seem to not be getting very far, is this fact. It's that as a matter of truth, cardio, aerobic exercise may be good for building lung capacity, but it is not going to help us burn fat. It never did. You know, and Casey has talked about, there was a time before she found keto, as it was explained to her by Dr. Westman, and I'll mention him below as well, but where she was doing a summer of triathlons, and she was working hard, training, running and biking and swimming, and nary a bit of weight did she lose. So given the fact that she was training for all these triathlons, right, you would think that if moving more was the key, she would have lost a whole bunch of weight. And as she will be quick to point out, nope. And the problem with aerobic exercise as fat burning is this, right? Typically, people who are exercising like this in order to burn fat, right, are typically starting off as carb burners, as we all are. And therefore we have to eat regularly. And the more we bring our bodies into that level of stress that running and cycling and even swimming can, you know, competitive swimming can do, the more carbs we need to consume. So we may not be gaining weight, but we're certainly not losing it either. I honestly, the only thing I do is I have one exercise that I do, and that is simply to help strengthen my core in order to help take some of the stress and strain off my lower back. And it is unbelievably gentle. It's almost a I guess it's a yoga kind of a lift, and it's basically one where I do 10 reps. That's it. Okay. I lay on a yoga mat. I keep my knees bent always. I found it on YouTube, and it's something from Duke University, from the sports therapy clinic, I think it was, for some core strength exercises, or lifts or bridges, for people who've had lower back injuries. And I do one set of 10 of them, and that's it. I found this yoga video about how to help massage my abdomen when I'm feeling super bloated, or when I'm feeling PMS really bad, and I'll do that a couple of times. Other than that, that's all I do, and I have still lost and kept off 65 pounds over the past 2 years. And I can't exercise. So if you are like Casey and you can, but you want to make sure that what you're doing is burning fat, then I would say look at doing some things like some yoga bridges or crunches that are easy on the back. And even more than that, honestly, just sometimes I'll just lay on my back and I will kind of roll my back, you know, where you kind of lift your knees up in the air and you hold them to your chest while you lay on your back. And I will just hold that there for as long as I can. And that helps sort of ease a bit of the pain in my lower back. That's my exercise. That's it. That's all I do. And yet I don't have excessive flaps. I don't have like, you know, bingo wings or chicken wings or whatever you call it. Other than I might eat chicken wings, but I don't have the flaps because as I've been losing the weight, I have gone about it in a way where I am burning the fat off. And that's the thing, right? You can, don't get me wrong, you can be overweight, and if you restrict your eating, okay, and you lose weight super fast, like say if you get your stomach stapled, right, or you get a gastric band put in, and you restrict all your food, you will lose weight. Now, the problem is of course, you may even lose it quickly. The problem is you if you're not eating the foods that are going to help you burn fat and help you become a fat burner, you're going to have excess skin. You're going to have loads of it. Now, I know there are some people who had so much weight to lose that even when they went keto and carnivore, they still had excess skin. And some people that might be the case. Perhaps they're not as their skin may not be as elastic. I don't know, right? I'm not a doctor, and so those things can still happen. But I do know that if you are starting up and you are going to do low carb, and you're going to do low carb, call it keto, call it ketovore, carnivore, whatever you want, and you are going to make a choice to eat foods that are ancestrally correct for us, right? Well, that's awesome, and thank goodness for that. But you don't have to exercise. And keep in mind, if you do an intense amount of exercise, like I don't mean intense as far as, you know, what do they call it? HIIT, the heats of interval training, right? Where you will perhaps use heavier weights, and for a short burst of time, like maybe a minute, you'll lift a few weights, or you'll run on the spot or something, right? But it's for a limited amount of time. That's different than deciding you're going to get on a treadmill and you're going to just blast it out and run for an hour, right? When you do it for short intervals of time, you can up your fat burning and the intensity, but not put yourself in a place where all of a sudden you put your adrenals in such a state of fight or flight that all you're getting is producing more cortisol, and you're blocking the effects of the body's fat burning capacity, right? But what I just want to say is, if you are anything like me, if you have physical limitations or disabilities, and perhaps you have even less mobility than I do, that's okay. You don't have to exercise to be 100% successful eating this way. And as your body learns to not only take in, love, adapt, and crave the healthy sources of animal fat and protein, you know what else? You are going to feel so much better, even if you don't ever do a bit of exercise. You know, that's okay. Even if the only exercise you get is moving your finger to push play on your screen to watch my videos, hey, that's okay. You can still have healthy insulin levels and blood sugar levels, and your cholesterols can get in line, including your triglycerides. You know, you can actually become a fat burner just by eating healthy sources of animal fat and protein. And by the way, that when I say that, I mean anything from the animal kingdom and their products. So perhaps you don't like fish, but you enjoy fish eggs. Whether you call them roe or caviar, it's basically the same thing. Eat those. You may enjoy chicken wings and not chicken breast. That's okay. You might prefer to have lamb chops. Or you might rather have ground beef, whether it's in the form of a burger patty or just fried up in the pan like I like it, with some bacon and egg yolk. Whatever works for you, okay? And again, I'm going to say this, I've said it before, but it always bears repeating, because, you know, if this is the first time you've watched my videos, by the way, thank you for stopping by. Sorry, I just got myself caught in a bit of a low-hanging tree branch there. So here is the keto diet, okay? If you are not sure yet if you want to give up all veggies, okay, then you don't necessarily have to. There are some within limitation that you can have if you're going to be more keto, ketogenic, okay? Low carb, not no carb. If you decide that you are not quite ready to be fully carnivore right off the hop, that's okay. So what that means then for you is you should look to be keeping your total daily carbs 20 grams or less per day. And if you're going to have carbs, then they should be coming from limited amounts of non-starchy vegetables. So I'd say 2 fistfuls of raw vegetables. All right, because if you measure that after they've been cooked, then you end up actually eating more of them than you should, and then that's just not good. Right? So whether that's things like broccoli, cauliflower, mushrooms, onions, peppers, tomatoes, perhaps asparagus, that could include avocado, which is technically a fruit, but it doesn't really taste like fruit to me. But anyways, go for it if you can tolerate them. And of your total grams of carbs per day, that should also include, or should come from, or you'll have to include with that, limited amounts of full-fat dairy. So that might include a handful of, I don't know, raw vegetables that you then cook, which is not a lot, because those carbs add up quickly, you know. And then if you also want to, and say, have some full-fat cream or some full milk, like whole milk in your coffee, you got to limit that to probably a couple of tablespoons a day, right? Because otherwise, once you get too many carbs in, if you're going with, you know, loads and loads of carbs, then you're also adding fat on top. Well, the carbs are going to be burned first, and the fat will just get stored as fat on your body. When you reduce or completely cut out your carbs and starches, then if you're still hungry, up your protein intake, your fatty protein intake, until you feel satiated. And again, and it's been said before, especially by Casey, but I'll say it as well because it's true. The beautiful thing about being keto or carnivore or somewhere in between, low carb even if you want to call it, is that we do not count calories. It is not like going to Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, Slim Fast, or anything else. We do not have to, you know, lose the joy of life because we're spending our whole days doing nothing but count calories. But don't forget, calories do still count. So if you are upping your fat but you're not really cutting back on your carbs and starches, or you're overeating carbs and starches, well, then it's all going to just get turned into fat anyways. Where do you start? I would just say, for me, what I found the easiest thing to do was think about what kinds of sources of animal protein do I like, and start eating that. Ground beef. I get mine's either 23 to 25% fat. I put in a big handful of it, chuck it in the frying pan, grind a little salt on top, add a couple of egg yolks, and then I cook some bacon separately that I break up and sprinkle on top when I'm done. That particular meal, okay, and I eat the beef fat. When the beef fat, the rendered fat, in the pan, I scoop that out and I eat that with everything else, because the whole point is to get the fat in, because it fills you up, makes you feel satiated, right? You can go for a lot longer without eating. And what you'll find is your appetite will become less. You will need to eat less because there's less of you that has to be maintained. So that's a bonus, right? And you find that all of a sudden, you don't have to focus on what to have next to eat. What do I eat? What's next, right? I always suggest, when you start out, if you enjoy ground beef, even if you have to start out with lean ground beef and work your way up to the fattier stuff, do that, right? Ground beef, eggs. Yeah, I do yolks because I have a lactose issue, and I also cannot handle egg whites. So ground beef, egg yolks. So I would say get ground beef, eggs, and bacon. Yeah, as priority things to have in your fridge at any given time. If you can't afford that, then I would say find lunch meats that you can eat. Because anything at the beginning, anything that has got a meat base to it is better than carb, you know. And there are people who like to include vegetables and maybe some low carb fruits when they first get started. And if they can tolerate that, fine, if they don't go over their 20 grams per day. But I tell you what, my personal experience is, because I also deal with IBS and leaky gut, and I have an inability to say no to anything that has sugar and carbs in it, I have to abstain. I can't moderate. I have to abstain. I have to just simply cut it all out. And for me, this was the perfect and ultimate elimination diet, because of all my food sensitivities and other GI issues I was dealing with. Maybe someday I'll go back as far as to some including some vegetables again. But I don't miss the carbs. I have no intention and desire to go back to them. They didn't do me any favors. They haven't helped me in any way. I'm not going to go back and eat them again, right? But in the meantime, what I would say is enjoy the wide range. So if you prefer fish and seafood, eat that. If you prefer poultry over red meat, eat that. If you prefer pork and red meat, eat that. Whatever you like and that you can afford, eat that. Now, here in the UK, food here is very highly regulated. We don't really have issues with massive feedlots and GMO stuff. It's not allowed over here. I know in the States that is more of an issue. But having said that, I would imagine that even if you're eating meat that comes from a feedlot, it is still going to be better for you than eating carbs. Okay? If that's what you can afford. It's still better than eating carbs. And at some point, eventually, maybe you can look at, getting something a bit higher quality. But even bologna and slices of cheese is better for you than eating carbs. Truly. Okay? But don't worry about whether or not you can exercise or move a lot. You don't have to, and I'm a perfect example of that. And again, I don't even do these yoga bridges or abdominal exercises regularly. I do them more if I'm feeling a bit bloated, like if my PMS gets bad, or if my back is just really bothering me. So that's typically either during my cycle or just before, for a few days. I don't do it every day, and I don't have to, and neither do you. So even if you can't manage even that, that's okay. Hopefully, if you start with what you eat and eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're satiated, and being patient with yourself. I did borrow that, by the way, from Casey Durango. Then you know what? Even if that's what has to happen, that's okay. Start there. You may find that you may start to lose enough weight that it takes the pressure off your joints, and you may find that you are able to move a bit more. And again, not to do it for burning fat, because aerobic exercise doesn't burn fat. It does help with your heart rate and keeping that healthy, but it is not going to burn fat. Okay? It isn't. So as long as you go into it knowing that, you don't have to feel that pressure, that insane pressure of, oh my gosh, I want to do this, but I can't exercise. What do I do? You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. And even if you can never exercise, like in my case, truly, that is okay. You don't have to. If you're someone who loves it, do it because you enjoy it. Do it because you love it, not because you feel like, oh my God, I have to go to the gym and I have to do this and I have to go here. That's never going to work anyways if you don't even want to do it. If you feel like you're going because you have to and you have no other choice, that motivation's going to only last for so long, guys. Trust me. I know. Okay? But I just wanted to say all of that and just let you guys know that you guys are okay. You guys are great. You guys are amazing. And if you are never able to do a lateral press or a pull down or I don't know, if you are never able to follow a Zumba class, that's okay. From what I understand, it's a bit overrated anyhow. For those of you who want to, go ahead. But for those of you who can't and are feeling really, really bad and guilty about it, please stop. It's not necessary, and you can still be completely successful regardless. So that's it for today. I just was thinking about this. I wanted to just share that with you guys. I hope the weather's nice where you are, and if it is, I hope you can get out and enjoy the sunshine and the warmer weather. Stay hydrated, guys. Make sure you take lots of water with you if you're out. It's beautiful here in Colchester, but I definitely have a water bottle with me at all times. I hope you guys do that as well. Stay hydrated. Don't be out in the sun for too long. Enough to get vitamin D, but not enough to get heat stroke or get sick. Okay, that's it. I was just that was on my heart, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So again, if you're feeling guilty or stressed because you feel like you have to exercise and you have to get to the gym and you can't for whatever reason, don't worry about it. You will still be able to lose weight even if you don't do that. Okay? That's all for now. If you guys want to, have me talk about this on any other kind of deeper levels, let me know. Leave me a comment. If you have not subscribed yet, please do. It would be so, so great to have as many as possible join in the community. Okay? Share this with anybody you think it might help. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll have content for you as soon as possible. Take care, guys. Talk to you then. Bye.